Obviously, everyone talking about the Luka trade, and so are we, with Luis Ortiz, Kim Davis from Chalk Talk in studio. Good to see you, Kim.
Good to see you.
And Jackson Gatlin from the Locked On Rockets podcast. Great to have everyone. Up first, what kind of impact does the Luka trade have on the Rockets? On the big board, the choices are major impact, minimal impact, or no impact. Jackson, you're starting us off, and Luis is going to be the person writing down your choice.
All right, well, shout out to Luis for handling that for me. I appreciate it. I'm gonna have to go so far as to say a major impact for the Houston Rockets for a couple different reasons. One, and this is the most important kind of facet of this trade for Rockets fans here, the Rockets own the rights to the Dallas Mavericks pick in the 2029 NBA draft. They either own the pick outright, if it's the most favorable of that, or the Phoenix Suns pick that year, or they have the option to swap to that pick. So essentially, they own that pick. So whatever this new experiment is with the Dallas Mavericks, with Nico Harrison deciding he wants to cut bait and move on from Luka, and he's going to try to contend with Anthony Davis in place of him, it feels like this experiment, whatever it looks like now, by the time we're in 2029, Kyrie Irving will be 37, AD will be 36. It doesn't feel like this Mavericks roster is going to age out gracefully. So that pick is easily going to be one of the best picks on the NBA trade market for Rafael Stone and company to do something with, whether they want to draft some young talent that year, use it in a trade package to bolster their roster, whatever it may look like somewhere down the line. So that's part one. And then part two is it kind of eliminates the Mavericks as legitimate contenders. This Mavericks team is no longer as scary as they were with Luka Doncic. So I think it has major impact for the Houston Rockets.
I like everything that Jackson is saying. I really do. But here's the thing about the future. We can't control it. So we don't know if, Kyrie Irving or Anthony Davis ends up getting traded or what happens if they're on Dallas's roster by 2029. But I do agree with you. Yes, with them aging, it does look like this pick is very appealing, especially for the Rockets to be able to trade. I'm going to go with minimal impact because also it's up to the Rockets what they do. It doesn't matter what Dallas is doing. It's all about the Rockets and how they play and if they make any trades at all. And how about this? As far as Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic, now Kyrie Irving, AD, that 1-2 punch, it might just work better than when Luka and Kyrie Irving were fighting for the ball. So I'm going to leave it up to let's see what happens.
How about our KD, Kim Davis?
So listen, I'm with Luis on that. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. It's 2025, right? So I'm thinking about what's the impact right now, and I'm going to go with minimal. Because what happens with the Rockets, oh, that's a D, my name is Davis. What happens with the Rockets is really up to the Rockets. The loss last night, the loss in Memphis, those were self-inflicted wounds. The Rockets' problems are the Rockets, and they can handle those. So I'm not too worried. I think the Mavericks have enough to worry about with how they're going to make this work, and the Lakers have enough to worry about who's going to fight with the refs more. So minimal.
Minimal. I'm going to say major impact because of the star power. It's impacting the league already when you consider that everyone's talking about it. And down the line, playoffs, it's going to be awfully tough to stop Luka and LeBron on one team. So I'm going to say major impact. And now, when we look at moving forward here, Jackson, is it possible this Luka trade could maybe give the Rockets a nudge to make their own type of deal before the trade deadline?
I honestly, Jason, I've gone back and forth on this. I don't really think so because every bit of messaging coming out of the Rockets organization for a while now has been that they are willing and capable of being incredibly patient with this young core. They want to see what this young core can accomplish throughout the rest of this season. They also really want to see what they can do in this postseason, because as it stands right now, it very much looks like the Rockets are not only one of the best teams in the NBA, but they're definitely going to probably have home court advantage in the playoffs this year. They're setting themselves up for a potential second round appearance, or maybe even it kind of feels like we're barreling towards a Thunder Rockets Western Conference Finals at this rate, with just the shape of the rest of the Western Conference and how good the Rockets have looked this season. So I think it's going to be really important for the Rockets front office to kind of gather those data points, figure out what this young core looks like in a postseason environment, and then evaluate and make any moves, address any shortcomings, figure out, okay, who's built for the playoffs, who's not, all that kind of stuff. And it kind of feels like this roster has earned the benefit of the doubt with how well they've played to this point. So I don't think this trade really forces anybody's hand. I don't think they're going to feel any pressure to go out there and make a move. Now, to quote Rafael Stone, right? His job is to make trades. His job is to turn stuff into better stuff. So if a trade materializes, if somebody comes knocking on the Rockets door with a different trade package where you just can't say no to it, just like Luka to the Lakers, then obviously they'll entertain it. But I think the likelihood is slim to none.
Kim?
Yeah, I think the likelihood is slim to none. I think what the Rockets needed a week ago is what they still need today, a rim protector. And I don't think it changes because of this deal. I just don't think it happens.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Jackson. I think unless the Rockets get approached with a trade, a blockbuster trade that you can't turn down, then they'll go for it. But otherwise, I think they've always said they're committed to developing this young core. They do have enough pieces, a surplus of pieces, we can say, where they at some point they have to make a trade. I think so personally. But also, the thing about patience is that I think the fans aren't patient. They want to win. Jackson's talking about possibly reaching the Western Conference Finals just with this team. I do think that they're one piece away, that superstar piece. And Anthony Edwards per se, maybe, but I think that for now, they're just taking it easy.
I'm with you guys. I think that right now, yes, they are a piece away. But whether that piece is available right now, I don't know if it is. And you don't want to make a trade that you're going to regret down the line. So don't force anything. And I think the Rockets have the right idea, being committed to this core.
And you don't want to give up these young guys.
No.
Just saying.
And speaking of Thompson, if he is on his way to stardom and riding a rocket ship, look at this graphic, huh? All right, if he's on a rocket ship to stardom, what is the name of that ship? Jackson, you're going first.
All right, we have taken to affectionately looking at this Rockets team, which is a team full of dogs, mind you, and calling them the Hounds with a capital H-O-U, repping Houston. And so I'm going to have to go with Hound Star 1 for this rocket ship because Amin is the lead dog for this team. He helps set the tone defensively. He's one part of the Terror Twins. So I'm going with Hound Star 1 for his rocket ships to stardom.
Good one. Kim?
I'm going to go with AT5. Right, his initials AT, this is like an advanced, we have an advanced rocket ship, and then his number 5, so he's AT5.
All right, I'm gonna say the Minotaur, because back in the 2000s, they had a series of rockets, Minotaurs, half man, half bull. And the way he plays defensively, the way just his effort, he's like a bull to me. So I'm gonna say the Minotaur.
Yeah, and I'm going to say it's mission impossible because everything, his ceiling, anything that Amin can accomplish is possible if he sets his mind to. And look, Jalen Green recently in an interview, he said if he can develop a consistent jump shot, then look out. And he's right. I mean, look, I was really impressed with that game winner over the Celtics, the way he created that separation just to sink it over the defender. Not every player can do that, and he did it easily.
Or the Ascender. I'm going to change because yours is much cooler. The Ascender.
The Ascender. Okay, so Kim's going with the Ascender then. All right.
Yeah, I'm trying.
So let's talk All-Star game. Alperen Sengun gets the nod. In which area has he taken the biggest leap forward in your mind, Jackson?
I think it has to be you look at his effort and his growth on the defensive side of the basketball court, because coming into the NBA, that was one of the bigger question marks about Alperen Sengun. And through the first 2 years of his career playing under Steven Silas, he wasn't really put in a position to be successful on the defensive side of the ball because he was constantly played in drop coverage. And for an undersized big like him, that was basically asking him to be cooked on a night in, night out basis. And there were probably some question marks about, effort, consistency on that end to begin with, but those teams had holes all up and down the roster defensively. Then Ime Udoka comes here, and he brings a defense-first mentality, and the idea of playing under Ime is if you don't play defense, you're not going to play. Right. And there was a lot of question marks about what that meant for Alperen Sengun in his future. And we saw in year 1 under Ime, him taking massive steps forward on the defensive side of the ball, being trusted in late-game situations, and really growing as a defensive player. But the Rockets doubled down on that identity, and they went from being the 10th best defense in the NBA to literally being one of the top 2 defenses for much of this season before they started having a bunch of injuries and losing Jabari Smith Jr. and then eventually Tari Eason as well for 13 games. And while Alperen Sengun isn't solely responsible for that jump from 10 to number 2, where they only trailed the OKC Thunder, who have had a historic defense this season, his growth and continued emphasis on that side of the basketball has been a huge part of the Rockets' success defensively. He put in a ton of work this offseason, got his body in the best shape it's ever been in, added a ton of core strength, which has helped him in boxing out, securing rebounds, and even just his mobility on the perimeter. He's a lot lighter and quicker on his feet. He's able to switch out. He's able to blitz, pick and roll coverages, and do so many things that he wasn't able to really do in the past. Part of that's the trust from the coaching staff, but also part of that's the work that he's put in behind the scenes to become a better defender.
I assume it's defense for you as well?
It's defense for me. And, he's worked on that mid-range shot a little bit, but definitely his defense has gotten better.
Yeah, for me, it's his self-awareness. I mean, Jackson just talked about the work that he put in during the offseason. I think Alperen Sengun has been very, very self-aware this season as far as that he knows he doesn't have to score 25 points per game to be impactful. He knows he can impact the game in different areas, whether it's his playmaking, his rebounding, or the defensive improvements that Jackson points out. So I think it's just him being self-aware of where he can grow and taking up on that.
Hey, back to our major impact of Luka and LeBron together. I got a lot of side eyes from everybody about that Laker team. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong, Jackson.
I mean, honestly, Jason, to me, it feels like we're waiting on the other shoe to drop because, again, this Lakers roster, as presently constructed, has a bunch of holes in it. They don't have a legitimate 5 on their roster. And yeah, they could maybe make a couple moves here at the margins. They've got some salaries and stuff that they could try to trade. But I think it just makes too much sense for the Lakers, and on the other end of it, as much as I hate mentioning this, potentially the Warriors to entertain a LeBron James trade where he could pair up with Steph Curry and, ride out the last couple of years of his career and actually vie for a couple more titles playing for the Warriors with Steph, with Draymond, and whatever pieces they could retain after acquiring him. And then for the Lakers, you get an influx of young talent, all the young pieces that the Warriors have that they could offer, as well as some future draft compensation to be able to actually build a legitimate roster around Luka Doncic, which would mean punting on this season. But if you hold on to LeBron James, and if he's only going to play this year and then next year before retiring, good and well, LeBron James is getting a farewell tour before he retires. And do you think that the Lakers are really going to be able to compete at the highest level if LeBron is, basking in the glamour and the glory of a farewell tour the exact same way that Kobe Bryant did before he hung him up? No way. You're not going to be able to field a truly competitive title contending team if that's the case, especially with all those distractions on a night-to-night basis. So I think we're headed for a LeBron James trade, honestly.
I take back everything I said. I take it all back. Was that wrong?
No, I agree with Jackson, not the trading LeBron part, but here's how I see it. Luka and AD just switched spots. The rest of the Lakers team is practically the same. The Lakers are 5th in the West right now for a reason, even if they do have LeBron James on the roster and Anthony Davis at that point, because it's just not a good team, not good enough to compete to be a contender. So I think just placing in Luka Doncic, he's a great player, game changer for sure, but he can't do it by himself, and he still needs help.
And they're gonna both be at the end of the court, like looking at the ref about the calls, right? But no, I agree with you. I don't think the team has changed that much. Luka's younger. Let me tell you something. Luka not being in shape a lot is gonna be an issue for LeBron.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I don't think it. I mean, I know it's major because he's young and because of his impact, but I don't know how much it shakes up what happens in terms of the standings and what happens in the West.
All right. Well, Kim Davis from Chalk Talk, Jackson Gatlin, Locked On Rockets podcast. Thank you both for being here tonight on Sports Extra.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.